Welcome to the after show. Please click the like button so you can like and subscribe and be notified and all that good stuff whenever we post segments. Okay, so today, I think you ladies will enjoy this. It was a gentleman who went on TikTok, and a lot of times when guys go on TikTok giving
hot takes
on women specifically,
Yes.
they usually get
It's some bullshit.
If you could picture, like
I love it.
giant pail of horse crap just getting dumped on the guy. Like, you just can't win. Like, doing a hot take on women if you're a guy. You can't. It just... Well, let me take that back. Most of the time you can't, because apparently this guy did one. Oh, and it was on single women too. Mm-hmm. He did a hot take.
Right.
On,
I know, yeah.
Hold on. He gave an analysis on dating single women. And single women, I'm not going to say every single one, but way more single women actually agreed with him.
Yes.
And told the dude that he nailed it.
Yep.
As far as his analyses.
Okay.
And wait, he was specifically talking about single women who have been single for a while.
Yes.
Not just like, you're...
Yeah, who's used to being alone.
Yes.
So he said what it's like to explain to other guys what it's like to date a woman who's used to being alone. And I mean, girls are like, dude, you know too much.
Right.
So
Someone has infiltrated the camp.
yeah. So he said, you think you're going to be her boyfriend? Bro, she's sleeping diagonally and been sleeping diagonally in her bed for 3 years. She's not giving up that territory because you opened the door and paid for her coffee. Her vibe is, I love the idea of you, but your physical presence is kind of ruining my aesthetic. So
I watched the whole video, and it is spot on. Like,
So what else is he saying? Like, what's his reasoning?
he said, well, because they're so used to being alone, they're comfortable doing that.
Right.
And it's not just about being comfortable. It's about like thriving by yourself. Like, you've created a life. You've decided that this is where I am in my life right now. I'm going to build like a good life for myself. And it's like, if you're coming in with just like some, a little bit of something or some BS or whatever. And I'm not talking about gifts or anything like that. But if you're not trying to like elevate my life, then what is the point?
Yeah, like the dude's not saying anything crazy. He goes, you plan a cute date. She's thinking, that sounds nice, but I could also stay home, deep clean my apartment, do a 12-step skincare routine, order sushi, and not have to listen to a man breathe.
Wow.
Yeah. Romantic surprises? Romantic surprises? You like that, right?
I love romantic surprises.
He says it's risky. You show up unannounced with flowers? Cool. She already scheduled her evening. 2-hour bubble bath, wine, watching Pride and Prejudice for emotional stability. You're just not part of the itinerary tonight.
All right. Well, we're clearly talking about two different types of women, because there are women that are very secure in being alone and independent. And then there's other women who are alone, but wouldn't mind opening the door to something, and
and that's true. And I don't think that the women who are answering in that way are saying that they're not open to something. They're just saying, like, listen,
you got to bring something to the table,
right? Like, you got to come with more, than I need to know my life's going to be better with you in it than. And
I understand that, and I know there's more that I can see that you want to, but I want to offer a little bit of a different perspective, because in my situation, because Pebbles and I we're very similar when it comes to dating, but very different at the same time.
Oh no, we're different.
Yeah.
So
Pebbles is final boss level. You're still like you're like a lower boss.
Okay. I guess my meaning, what I'm trying to say, is a little different. I personally, yes, I am interested in dating, and I wouldn't mind being in a relationship. But at this stage in my life, I'm going through sort of a transitional phase, right? Where I don't feel like I am 100%, I don't want to say worthy. I feel like I have a lot of work to do in my personal self. So I don't feel like I should be with someone right now for that reason. So there's a different reason why I choose or am choosing, I guess, at this point in my life to be by myself.
But aren't
so it's
we
different.
all always like? I feel like I have a lot of stuff to work on too. I think we all always do until
Right.
the day we die.
No, you're right. But I think that it's a little bit more for me at this point in time. Like there's really things that I'm working on that. And it's funny because people say this stuff like this to me, what you're saying, Pebbles, to me all the time. They're like, you're never going to be perfect for someone else. It's a matter of, are you and the person you're going to be with, will you be perfect for each other? You don't have to be the best version of yourself to want to be with somebody else. And I don't know. I just feel like it's not a punishment per se, but I feel like I'm not worthy of a relationship because I have a lot of stuff that I need to work on.
It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that the work that you're doing on yourself can't be interrupted by a relationship right now, because a relationship for you maybe could cloud your judgment. It could distract you from what you're trying to do.
Not necessarily.
Like that,
kind of. You're almost there. I think it's more so where I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to the gentleman who would come into my life because I don't feel like I am. Again, I keep thinking the word worthy, but that's not it.
I hope that's not it.
No, it's not. I feel like I need to be better in order to give myself to someone else, if that makes sense. It might be a depressing way to look at it.
It does, but
but
like, what? I mean, you don't have to get into specifics.
Yeah.
Like,
I have specific things that I need to work on personally.
Okay.
And I feel like until I get to that point, it wouldn't be fair of me to be in a relationship with somebody else. And you know what? Like I said, the few people that I have said this to have told me that I'm wrong and I shouldn't look at it that way. So I get the different opinions. But I don't know. I feel like it's hard to get into a relationship with somebody else unless you are secure in what you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
If
I
that
get what
makes
you're saying.
sense.
I just think,
I mean, it makes sense.
yeah, it's just I think you're
Wording it wrong?
You're wording it way wrong. It's
Okay.
not- I like to use the cliche of, it's what I used with my wife's sister, who was always going from relationship. I'm like, yo, you need to take a break and just get to know yourself before, getting into a relationship. So you're getting to know yourself, and there's a lot of different ways you're doing that. I don't know, but
I think
saying you're not
have,
worthy. It's like,
I mean, and not that you have. Again, it's very personal, but it sounds like there are specific things. Is that correct? That
Yes.
You're working on?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
And I don't know if this is really going with what you're saying. I was trying to make the comparison because, in what this viral video is saying to me is that there are a lot of women out there that are secure in what they have and what in their life, and they don't want it to be disrupted by just average. They want someone, if they're going to be interrupted and infiltrated, the person needs to really bring something to the table, is what it sounds like to me.
See, that part I don't necessarily agree with, because that makes it seem like you're expecting someone to be perfect and to have like everything and have a lot of resource. It's not necessarily that. It's more you want to be able to hold on to the peace that you have. I'll speak for myself. Like, I don't want to, and I know all relationships come with, yes, there are arguments, and yes, there are compromises and whatever. And for me, like, the peace that I have right now, I don't want to be fighting with anyone. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to compromise a lot of things. And
You don't want your peace to be disrupted, it sounds like.
I'm not saying every relationship
Right.
is disruptive, because
But
I know
it's a
that there are
risk.
people who work. It's a total risk.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just that I'm not in that gambling game right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like rolling the dice. It's like, it could work, it could not. I don't have time for the could nots.
Right,
So, and I always say this, like, maybe if the Lord came down and said, here you go, here's your perfect match, it'll be peace, you all work well together. I still might give you a side eye, even to the Lord.
I don't know,
but-
Jesus. Are you really right?
But I understand what you're saying, Melissa, and I think
Yeah.
that's honest. But I just hope that it's not coming from, like, you use the word worthy a lot, like that you don't think you're deserving or you don't think that, you're good enough or anything like that. Because
It's funny
that's-
you say that, and I don't mean this to sound depressing, because nor am I looking for pity, but I definitely do. I will say when I get matched up with certain men online, and sometimes I say to myself, this man has a lot to offer. I don't think he'd be interested in me. I do feel
a lot, as in what?
like security, financials. They're ready for to give anything and everything to someone, ready to travel, ready to do all this stuff, and is just so ready for that next step. And I feel like I would hold them back in a way because I'm not at that level personally. So I immediately shut it down.
But that doesn't necessarily make someone a good
Right.
person.
No, you're right. I do know that. That is very true.
Because you could have a lot
But-
of things and still be a trash human being.
Right. That is true.
So I think you need to take stock of what you do have and what you do have to offer
Yeah.
in a relationship. Because, just like the cats that you're looking for, you are affectionate and you are very
I do.
giving
Yes,
in
I
a
do have a lot of good
relationship
qualities. I do, but
And
I just
think you need to hang on to those things too, because
Yeah.
maybe you don't. If you're looking at it on paper, you don't think
right,
you have.
right.
That
That is very true.
Yeah, just write down a pro and con list about yourself, if anything.
and some things you can work.
That'll
on.
be a reality check in itself. Let's
We
see.
should all do that.
Oh my God.
That could be the next step. The next
Oh,
episode.
God.
When I got divorced, I basically wrote down like a list of like that about myself.
Was it hard to do?
Not at all. Because
And was it eye-opening?
A little bit. A lot of it was I made a list I started looking at my life and going, okay, there's a lot of things that I'm doing right now that you sometimes get like so lost in. What do they say? They say you're so far in the forest you don't see the trees or whatever.
Yeah, you can't see the forest.
Yeah. So I literally made a list of things that I'm doing that I like doing. Things that I'd like to do that I'm not doing right now. Things that I don't like to do, but I have to do. There's just some shit that you have to do in life, but you don't like to do it, but it has to get done.
Right.
But then I made a list, and this was the eye-opening one. Things I don't like to do, but that I'm doing.
You don't like
Okay.
to do that. Yes.
And I don't, but
Okay.
I don't need to do.
Right.
But that I don't need
For
to do.
example, can you give one?
Oh, God. I mean, Melissa, this was
I know. I'm just trying to.
12.
Things you are doing,
okay, let me try
but
and
you
think.
don't
Yeah,
need to
it
do.
was it was like that. But anyway, that was the biggest list, and I literally wrote that list, and then I went like this with the paper, and I was like, if I don't need to do these things, and I don't like doing them,
okay,
I'm not
okay.
going to do them.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm trying to think of one right now. There was a lot of things that I said yes to that I didn't need to say yes to.
Okay.
And I felt bad because a lot of them were like things like kind of charity things, but I was overextending myself. And I'm like, okay, if I say no to this thing, it doesn't mean that I'm a piece of shit who hates like
Right.
this charity. It's just I just can't overextend myself. So
Right.
that was one of the big things. I started
Being more selective.
being way more
Okay,
selective.
that
I
makes
actually
sense.
took myself. I was like on a board of a couple things, and I hit him up, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, I don't have time for this right now." And in my head, I thought they were gonna be like, "You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You hate
Yeah.
humans," and they were like, "Totally understand."
Right.
So, but I know that's really bad, but there was other things too. That's like the first thing I thought of. But I mean, at the time I owned a laundromat, and I was like, I don't even care about laundry.
Right.
Like, okay, I own laundry. I'm making a little bit of money. I really did this just so I could learn about business. I hired people. I did all the stuff. Okay, now in order to make the business better, I need to literally like laundry and want it. So I sold a laundromat, like
Right.
things like that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember I there were just so many things that it's another cliche saying where they're like, everyone's always looking to add things to their life. It's like sometimes you need to actually remove things from your life.
Absolutely.
Oof.
So that was a
That's
big thing
deep.
I did. So I don't know, maybe that could help you out.
No, I mean it makes perfect sense.
You know?
Leroy, you're quiet over there.
Cause I'm listening. And when you don't have much to offer in the moment, it's okay to sit back and just
All right.
hear wisdom and take it in.
Yeah. Wisdom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
Sometimes I feel like you
wisdom,
get
but
sometimes I feel like you're so in your head that you're like thinking of something completely different. Like he's like, do squirrels mate for life?
I don't want to say something just to say and distract from good conversation that could not only help me but help others. So that's all it is. I'm listening.
But I do feel like later you'll be like,
Oh yeah, but just right now,
Yeah.
it's
I
just
get
I'm
it.
hearing
I get
and
it.
I'm listening. So good stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, going back to your cats real quick, I told this earlier to Melissa, and I'm going to say it again. I don't want to hear anymore about, oh, I'm going to go meet this cat. Oh, look at this cat that I met yesterday. I don't want to see a picture or hear a cat's name until it's
Okay.
look at the
Done.
cat who's currently in my apartment that
All
I
right.
already adopted.
All right.
I know I've already met like
I
I'm
know.
getting
I've been
15
trying to
cats.
include you guys in my
No,
process.
but I'm getting
I'll still
emotionally
look.
invested in all these cats, and she's like, "No, it didn't work out." So I'm done. Just like a man. I don't want to hear
I
about.
know. I'm
talked
comparing
to
this
this great
cat
guy online
process to
yesterday.
dating. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't care about who you talked to online yesterday.
Damn it.
Tell me about the date. All right. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe.